What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I wanted to post this one a while back, but I never got around to it, so here it is. Basically, just a great, solid team to try out when Ultra League comes back. There are week-long rotations right now, so I'm pretty sure Ultra League will be returning about a week after I post this. So if you're looking for a team to run in Ultra League Open and maybe you don't have enough candies for something like Registeel or Cresselia or Giratina, you don't need them, okay? You don't need them. You are going to need a lot of XL candy to run a team like this, though. Seeing as how there are two level 50 XL Pokemon on this team. I will say Talonflame doesn't take that long to build, being that you only need 1 kilometer per XL candy on average in order to get the Talonflame built. Umbreon was a lot harder. It took me a long time to walk enough and trade enough to be able to do XL Umbreon, which is why I wanted to show it off, even though it's a well-established Pokemon in the meta that people have been running for quite some time now. It's new for me, okay? So I'm going to run it. Yeah, Umbreon is just an incredibly solid safe swap in this meta. And Talonflame is just scary and just, for the most part, pretty unchecked in Ultra League. The only like hard counter to it is Regirock, I think. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, it just has a lot of neutral matchups, and even if Incinerate and Flame Charge are doing resisted damage, there aren't many Pokemon that resist flying and fire, so you usually have something to hit them with. So those two make a great core, and then we've just got Machamp on the lead to kind of fill in the gaps and pressure shields so that Talonflame can kind of do its thing, and then you have obviously Umbreon, who doesn't really need to shield, almost never needs to shield. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into game one here. So we're leading off against a Scrafty here, and he's going to go right for the power-up punch, which we're just going to let go because it's not going to be doing any super effective damage or any notable damage at all. I waited a little bit just to see if he would try to catch this cross chop, but he doesn't, and he shields. So already we've picked up shield advantage here. He's going to throw a second power-up punch, and we're going to let that go as well. And throw a second cross chop here just before going down. He doesn't want to lose his boost, so at this point he's staying in. He is going to double shield, so now we're up 2-0 shields, and this Scrafty's in the red. So Talonflame really just has to fear the foul play here. We don't want to take a +2 foul play, so I think I momentarily was counting in my head to see if he was even at one. Realized he was. Correctly shielded it, and now we've got enough to throw a move right away. I'm going to throw the Flame Charge for neutral damage against this Walrein here. Walrein can only hit us with neutral Icicle Spears, and his shields are down, so there's not a whole lot he can do here. I'm just going to throw my Brave Bird and dip out, because if you have a nuke and shields are down, you got to use the nuke. So he swaps, blind swap, not knowing what I have, just assuming that I needed to get out, so unfortunately for him, it's going to be Umbreon against Cresselia, and even though Umbreon has Moonblast, it's still going to lose this matchup, so my opponent decides to go ahead and concede the match. So, well played to him. Right into game two against an Empoleon Lead, who's going to immediately swap to a Mandibuzz. You could kind of go either way with this situation. I decided to throw the Rock Slide, but he shields. A lot of Mandibuzz do not shield. Typically, or at least when they're in the green like that, so I figured it was worth a shot. But we do pick up that shield. I'm able to just kind of shrug off that first foul play and bring in Talonflame, and now I'm throwing Flame Charge here, trying to get something started since we have shield advantage, and I've got Talonflame in a neutral matchup here. So we've got him about halfway down here and building up to my next Flame Charge or Brave Bird. I opt to just let that go as well. I'm not sure what's in the back, so I don't know if that was really the right decision in hindsight, but I let it go. I figure I'll just Flame Charge here and pick up the KO, but no. He decides to throw both shields on Mandibuzz against Talonflame. Obviously now I'm realizing, oh, I guess Talonflame was really good against whatever he had in the back, but it's too late now. So bring Umbreon back in to take some aerial aces here. Probably a good idea to overfarm and pick up some energy, but I decided to just throw the last resort right away because I, again, don't really know what's back there. Yeah, so in comes Empoleon. I have Machamp, so ideally I'd like to align Machamp with this Empoleon here. But doesn't look like that's going to be an option, so just trying to decide when I'm going to start shielding at this point against this Empoleon as he's firing off Hydro Cannon after Hydro here. I decide to wait till he's energy dry and throw, swap to Machamp so I can see what there's in the back. Unfortunately for me, it's Charm, Alolan Ninetales. So with shields down, I'm able to chunk it pretty hard with that Rock Slide, and then fortunately I was almost at this last resort, so I throw the last resort, and that's enough to KO that Alolan Ninetales, which would have been a huge problem for this back line if I didn't have so much energy already stored up. Fortunately, I do. We make short work of it, and then even though I'm in the red, I'm able to get that 2-shield flex there. Yeah, so right into the next game against Obstagoon. He's opting to stay in here. I've seen this a lot in Ultra League. Even when Obstagoon leads into a fighter, they rarely switch right away, which I just think is so strange. I mean, you would think you would want to try to get out of that situation, but he just lets it get completely farmed down so he can bring in his Togekiss here for free. He's going to have to shield, though, to avoid that Rock Slide. I just let Machamp go at that point because shield advantage plus being able to align Talonflame as opposed to Umbreon with Togekiss is huge. So in comes Umbreon against the Empoleon, who's going to just throw a Hydro Cannon, as they do. We let that go, and we get to our foul play here. So just going to be foul playing in this matchup for as much chip damage as he'll let me get off. In comes another Hydro Cannon. I decide to shield that one just so I can keep chunking this thing as long as it'll let me. Yeah, gonna throw another Hydro here because we still don't really know what's in the back, and we don't know if Talonflame is going to be able to handle it or not. I'm sorry, we do know what's in the back. It's that Togekiss because we took out Obstagoon at the beginning. So in comes a Togekiss trying to catch a foul play. I just throw the last resort anyway, and then swap to Talonflame here. Now here, unfortunately, he survives with like 1 HP, but I let this go because actually I didn't know that he had Aerial Ace. That was just lucky. I expected the possible Ancient Power, but I figured in case he did have a Hydro Cannon, if I shield and we get hit with the Hydro, then it's pretty much GG. So I was kind of hoping that I would just farm him down and throw my move at Emp right away. But anyway, against Scizor here, gonna stay in. Obviously, it would be ideal if Talonflame was aligned with Scizor, but we don't have that opportunity at the start. I go into my safe swap in Umbreon, and he's gonna go ahead and throw Hydros. As you know, Swampert gets to those Hydro Cannons extremely quickly, so they're really gonna start to add up. We can do a little bit of spamming on our own with foul play here. This is Hydro Cannon number 2. Going to opt to let that go as well as I try to get to the next foul play here. Just about there, and he beats me to a move, so I decide to let this shield this one up. It still wouldn't quite KO, but at this point it's just a war of attrition here against two kind of bulky Pokemon. We get this Swampert in the red, but I know he's going to beat me to a move. Anyway, he decides to swap to Poliwrath there, and watching it kind of sped up, it doesn't look like he caught the move really. I don't know why I threw foul play. I think I kind of just panicked there because I wasn't sure what to swap to. So I ended up throwing foul play when I should have thrown last resort or just dipped out immediately. In a lot of cases, Talonflame versus Poliwrath is safer than you might think. You might think, oh, water type versus fire type, this is bad. But unless they're running Scald, which they usually aren't, it's a pretty safe swap with Talonflame because he can only hit you with neutral ice punches, and you have a nuke in Brave Bird. I figured he wouldn't expect the Brave Bird right away, so I just throw it to take him out, and then I let Swampert finish Talonflame off. I figure that's a fair trade to get rid of Poliwrath, who would be otherwise a big problem for this team. I swapped him a Champ to catch this Night Slash and just start getting some energy on me. Bullet Punch isn't doing a whole lot, but this Iron Head might, so I decided to shield it. And then I probably should have farmed down here instead of CMP tying, but it is what it is. So I try to actually undercharge It doesn't really matter though. The Swampert does beat me to a move, but at this point he's so low on health that it's pretty much tied up. If he dries his energy there, we just snarl a couple times and we win. So we're able to pick up that game as well. So far, team's working really nicely here. Against the Mandibuzz, I could have tried to bait the Rock Slide and dip, but because it's Air Slash and not Snarl, I didn't feel comfortable staying in that long. So I go right to Umbreon to see what else he has, if he wants to swap or not. I'm just going to throw a Last Resort, but my opponent makes a great catch here and swaps right in, just in time so that I throw Last Resort into Galarian Stunfisk instead of a foul play into it. I guess I could have just over-farmed in that scenario since Mandibuzz isn't going to do anything that damaging to me anyway. Just something to think about for future sets with this team. I let the Earthquake go because Umbreon's just so bulky. I didn't want to spare any shields. But I'm going to throw this foul play, which he's going to let go. And immediately I'm going to swap to my Machamp here. So at this point I do have to shield against Stunfisk. So I correctly shield the Earthquake. And now he brings Mandibuzz back in. So I try to bait because I have the Rock Slide here and I'm hoping that he's going to shield it. But he lets it go. This time I get to the Rock Slide. He's going to get to his Aerial Ace there, but I believe I let that go as well since Mandibuzz isn't the hardest hitting Pokemon. I know I can fire off my Rock Slide before going down. But then he lets that go. So now I'm like, oh no. There must have been something in the back that Machamp would have been really good against. But unfortunately, I don't get to find out because he brings in that weakened Stunfisk, and I'm so low on health that I figure I gotta throw my Cross Chop. Maybe he'll shield. No shield. So in comes Regirock, and now I'm in big trouble because my backline cannot handle Regirock, especially at a shield disadvantage. Talonflame doesn't know what to do against it, and Umbreon can just fire off, foul plays and hope for the best, but that spammy Regirock's going to get to a lot of Stone Edges in that time. So really my win con at this point is to try to catch a Stone Edge on Talonflame and just completely sack it. I'm trying to get the timing down. Unfortunately, I'm not that good at counting lock-ons. I know that you can kind of use your own move to count, but I was kind of out of it and I didn't really know where he was at. So I was hoping I could swap there, but my timing was completely off. And basically, yeah, there's nothing you can do except top left at that point, because with shields, if his shields were down, maybe I had a shot, but otherwise there's just no way. But anyway, that was one of many 4-1 and 5-0 sets that I had with this team. It just was really consistent, even without having a legendary like Registeel or Cress or Giratina. Definitely give it a try if you can. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'm not sure what my next video is going to be, but hopefully it'll be something interesting that maybe you guys haven't seen in a while or seen before. But yeah, thanks for watching, and please leave a like or sub if you enjoyed, and we'll try to keep cranking out more of these videos.